Welcome back, and thank you for staying tuned to Newsmaker Live. Today, I have with my guests, Mr. Andres Griffith and Nurse Magdalena Alexander. And they're going to talk to us a little bit about Occupational Health and Safety Week, which is coming up next week. Now, just a little information on my guests. Mr. Griffith is a Cuban by nationality, although I've been summarily informed that he's Cuban/Jamaican/St. Lucian. So we have a true Caribbean man with us today. He's just not Cuban just because he was born there, but because he's been all over the Caribbean and been working in the Caribbean for so long in the different islands. He's adopted the cultures lock, stock, and barrel. So we have Mr. Griffith, who is the sole occupational health and safety consultant on island. Must be a heavy load for him, being the only person. He has been working in this field for over since 1972, and he's been working in St. Lucia since 2001?
2011.
2001
I started work.
2001 he started working here, and he's attached to the environmental unit of the Ministry of Health from 2001 to 2009, and he's now attached to the Labor Department since 2009. Yes, and so he's going to be telling us as much as he can about of his knowledge of occupational health and safety in the short space of time that we have. Also with us is Nurse Magdalena Alexander, and she amazes me because she's been a nurse for over 35 years. Well, she says she's 35 years in August. Yes, and well, she doesn't look a day over 40, so I don't know if she's been nursing since she was 5. But she has a wealth of knowledge in nursing, and she is the public health nursing supervisor, and she's been doing this for 8 years now. And she too is going to tell us about her role in putting together the health fair, which they will be putting on to commemorate Occupational Health and Safety Week next week. So welcome, ma'am, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome to Newsmaker Live.
Okay.
Yes. Tell us more about occupation. Let's start with you, Mr. Griffith. Tell us a little bit more about occupational health and safety, and how is it that we're celebrating a week of activities?
Well, occupational safety and health is some activity that is really dedicated to prevent occupational accident and occupational diseases in the working place, of course. And for that reason, every year, ILO, International Level Organization, celebrate this day, the 28th of April. Of course, that day we celebrate certain activities, but now by the Ministry of Public Service in conjunction with the Labor Department and the Ministry of Health, we're going to have a week celebrating this activity, that the theme is join us in building a culture and prevention of occupational health and safety. Okay?
So the International Day of Occupational Health and Safety was April 28th. And you had activities.
Of course.
Right. So you had your plugs on the radio and the television and all of that.
We give a seminar, general seminar in prevention. Because this year is prevention. We have to join in prevention of occupational safety and health in the working place.
So that was on the 28th. But next week you will be putting together, especially for the public service, a week of activities commemorating Occupational Health and Safety Week. Why do it separate from?
Well, because this week we decided to do it for the public service sector, because it's the area where you have more workers. Okay. You understand? Private sector is a little less number of workers. That we public service have more workers, so it's necessary to give this awareness to all the workers in the public sector. So that for that reason we decide to make a committee together with Ministry of Health, the Labor Department, and the Ministry of Public Service to give this group of activities during a week that will start from June 15 until June 19, okay? Starting with an open seminar that we're going to start there at 9 o'clock, from 9 to 1 o'clock, with all the HR officer from the ministries, for the different ministries. going to start to speak about occupational safety and health. Fire department will speak too. And the Minister of Health, they're going to speak about occupational diseases. So it's a complete seminar, 3 hours. In the afternoon, we'll have a presentation for different ministries by the police. They're going to make different presentation too. And that day, we're going to finish, in conclusion, a simulation exercise in some of the government buildings. On Tuesday, 16, we're going to have a presentation for different ministries by the police department in different ministries. At the end, we're going to make a simulation exercise in those ministries too. Wednesday, we're going to give another presentation by the police department, simulation exercise. And at 4:30, we'll have a fitness session.
A fitness
session in Graham Lisi building, at the car park at the building at the back. So people can make exercise and all these different activities there.
So you're going to have all sorts of different Zumba. I mean, Zumba is a big craze now in St. Lucia. So you're going to have all sorts of exercise. Are you going to have like Tai Chi or anything like that?
This type of exercise.
I need to come out and I mean, I don't work in the public sector, but hey.
Okay, you can.
I'm sure. There you go. Yes, wonderful.
And then on Thursday, we're going to make a fair of occupational safety and health, where we have different stands, where the Minister of Health will be, Labor Department, some private companies will be there too, and of course they're going to be more focused in activities of occupational safety and health. They will have some private companies selling or showing all this personal protective equipment. For example, RMC going to show all the personal equipment that is selling here in St. Lucia, so the different companies can go and buy and all these things. And other companies that will help us to do this activity. Okay, it will start at 9 o'clock to 3 p.m. All the public is invited. From schools to workers, no problem. We are invited everybody. And Friday the 19th, we will close the activities with the police presentation in different ministries and a simulation exercise too in all the buildings. And that will conclude this week of occupational safety and health. Okay?
So this is basically geared towards the public sector because the public sector employs the largest number of persons, right? So that's awesome. But you're not excluding the private sector as well. So persons like myself or anybody out there who's interested, they can come in and take in the week of activities starting on Monday the 15th with your seminars and whatnot. So let's take each day, you know, especially. So you're going to have the seminar on the Monday, and that is going to be including all different ministries. So you have Ministry of Health participating, you have the police participating, the Labor Department participating, and that is open to everybody. Now,
no, that seminar will be specific for HRs.
Oh, for HR. Okay,
from the different ministries.
Right, from the different ministries. So all the HR practitioners
because the HR department is the one dealing more with occupational safety and health. You understand?
So let's pause here for a minute and tell us more about occupational health and safety. You know, health and safety in the workplace. What exactly does that entail?
Well, the main objective of this activity or this science is to prevent, occupational accident and occupational disease by identification, evaluation, and control of hazard in the working place, health hazard in the working place. For that reason, well, we have to conduct inspections. We need to conduct inspection to different establishments. And that point to try to identify hazard. As soon as we identify the hazard, we make a evaluation of the hazard and do control measure, That can be maybe reducing the noise if they have noise or personal protective equipment if you cannot, you understand? The main objective is to prevent accident, occupational accident and occupational diseases. That, for example, this year we have a total of 166 occupational accidents.
This year only already, like from January to June.
2000, no, last year. From
for last year.
From January to December 2014.
Oh,
we have 166 accidents.
166. No. Oh my
no,
goodness.
We have less number than the year before. The year before we have about 217.
Ooh. But I thought you were saying that it was for this year. I'm like, we're only halfway through the year, and we're already at 166.
Until this moment, we have a number about 20 occupational
Okay,
accidents.
so we're going good this year.
The number is going down. But the problem is that we need to continue working in prevention because our activity is more in prevention.
So tell us some of the types of accidents that can take place in the workplace. I mean, it doesn't really matter if it's the public sector or the private sector, just because a lot of the times things happen and we don't really look at it as an accident or something that we should be concerned about. We just discount it. But then there are a lot of implications, I imagine, when there's an accident in the workplace, and the list of which is a staff member is sent home on sick leave. So tell us a little bit about some of the accidents that you've seen.
For example, where we have more problem now in accidents in the construction sector. Okay, that's why this year we are more focused in doing inspection in the field in all the construction activities. Because last year, well, was very sad. We had to work that night working in the construction sector. So we need to be more focused in this activity, be more proactive in this case to try, because sometimes you see workers without using her hat, without using gloves, without boots, and working in high, and they don't using any type of protection, and it's a hazardous situation. Sometimes they have a lot of unsafe condition and they don't have perception of the risk, and that's why we need to be more proactive and more direct in the field to try to identify this hazard and immediately put control measure on it. Sometimes we have to stop activities because it's so dangerous that we need to prevent that the accident
I just
occur.
need you to speak a little louder because your voice is a little low, so we can get your exactly the viewers at home can get what you're saying very clearly. So yes, carry on.
No, what I was saying that this activity we need to be more active now in the construction sites because sometimes they have workers that make violation of the law. Not only workers, employers too. You understand?
Right, because I'm interested in that because the employers do things, the employees do things. That's okay. I'm just going up there for 5 seconds, but there are big implications not just for themselves but for the employers as well. So, what can employers do or should do to enforce employees doing the right thing so that they can protect themselves and other employees as well?
Well, the employers have the obligation of create safe condition in the working place. That is the main obligation of the employer. Okay, by engineering control measure, work practice, administrative control measure, or giving personal protective equipment to the workers. Okay, to try to minimize or eliminate the hazard. That is an obligation of the employer. And obligation of the employees to use all the personal protective equipment that the employer supply to them. So so it's a combination of activity between employer and employee.
Can employers pull out of the field an employee who is not following regulations?
Of course, under the act.
Under the act, they have that right.
The employee have the act, the power to move from the working place as soon as you have a hazardous situation that you think that can affect your health.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the employer as well. Does the employer have, because a lot of the times you will pull them off, I'm just concerned that you pull them off the field and say, you know what, if you cannot follow the rules and regulations where your hat I have provided for you, or your boots, steel toe, or your gloves that I have provided for you, you putting yourself at risk and you're putting the job at risk and you're putting your fellow employees at risk, your fellow workers at risk. I need you to get out of my construction site.
The employer can do that.
The employer can do that without hassle or fear of labor department coming down on them.
No. Under the act they have to use. They have that power.
Okay.
The same way that the employee, if they think that they have a hazardous situation in the working place, they can remove from the working place.
So they have no excuse for if an accident happens, somebody loses a limb, a finger, or God forbid, their life, to say, well, I had told him to use. They don't have that excuse because they can remove that worker from the site.
Of course.
Okay.
And that's why we need to be more proactive giving training to the workers, okay? Before they start to work, they need to receive training. And during the working activity, they need to receive training too. So they know how the activity they're going to do in the working place, you understand? They have to know the hazard that they have in the working place. That is so important to receive training. And the worker needs to receive training before and during the working activities. And something that sometimes is breakdown in this point.
The Labor Department, does the Labor Department undergo any sort of educational programming throughout the year to educate employees and employers, and you will notice that I'm stressing on both the employees and the employers because the two go hand in hand. The employees need to know what is expected of them, how they need to behave, and the employers need to know what is within their purview, how they can, you know, what they can do without fear of you know, maybe sanctioning by the Labor Department, because, you know, employees like to say, I'm going to the Labor Department, but employers need to know what they ought to do to keep the working environment safe for everybody concerned. So does the Labor Department have any of those programming going on throughout the year?
Of course. Since the Labor Act getting enforced here in St. Lucia, the Labor Act number 37 of 2006, we have been giving different training in private companies, inclusive to the public sector too. And they have the opportunity, for example, they can call us at any time, and we have a schedule of training that they can call us, and we schedule it, and we give them training. Inclusive, we bring from ILO, we bring specialists. Last year, we have a good seminar here in chemical hazard to all the sector, private and public sector. And it was a good seminar for all the workers. Inclusive, we keep training in the Labor Act, because sometimes the same employees and employers, they don't know the right.
That's it.
And the part number 4 of that act is completely occupation safety and health. And we have 4 divisions there. That is registration and requirement of industrial establishment, hazardous chemical, physical, and biological hazard. They have the one notification of occupational accident, occupational diseases, and the last one is duties of employees and employers. So this part number 4 is completely occupation safety and health in that act, and it covers all the aspects that you can find in the working place. For example, hazard that you can find in the working place, chemical, biological, or physical hazard.
So any work environment, any organization in St. Lucia can place a call, a request to the Labor Department and say, listen, I need to educate my staff, or I want to have a seminar, will you facilitate that?
Without any problem.
Is there a cost to that?
No, it's free.
St. Lucia, you hear that?
Free of charge.
Free of charge. You, any business place in St. Lucia, can now call up the Labor Department and ask for a seminar or some sort of educational programming at your workplace, free of charge. We will take a break now. When we come back, a little bit more about Occupational Health and Safety Week.